Good morning, guys. This is your Hanuman Chachan. One more time, I am here with some of the great intro questions and answers. Today, we are going to cover some of the West Spring Boot and microservices intro questions. As per my understanding, these questions are very important as of now for today's market. So, this video is going very lengthy because I am going to cover 64 intro questions. These are very, very important. If you prepare these interview questions, definitely I'll give guarantee of you will get 15 LCA package without any issues. Okay. So I'm going to start. I'm going to share my screen and we'll see one by one all of those questions and answers. Okay. Let's start. Yeah. This is my screen. Okay. This is a PDF I am open. So I want to page. Okay. Likewise, we'll go. I will remove this one. This one to top and move this one to top. So basically in this we are going to understand Java microservices. Okay. A practical guide to into preparations. In this I'm totally covering I think 64 questions. Oh my god. Total in this see 64 question. The last question is how do you handle data validation in Java microservices, right? So up to these questions we are going to see. If you want this video, you can please comment here. I will share this one to you directly. Okay. So the first question is comes under the category of basic concepts. Okay. The first question is microservices architecture and how does it differ from monolithic architecture? Microservices architecture is an approach to software development where an application is composed of small independent services that communicate over a network. Each services is responsible for a specific functionality and can be developed, deployed, and scaled independently. This is the basic microservices architecture. What is monolithic architecture? Single unified code base. All functionalities are tightly coupled. Easier initial development but harder to scale and maintain. I know each and every Java developer are aware of these things. The second one is microservices architecture. Multiple loosely coupled services. Services can be developed and deployed independently, easier to scale and maintain. Okay, these are the major differences between the monolithic architecture and microservices architecture. The example is nothing but in a monolithic application, a single code base might handle user authentication, product catalog, and order processing. In a microservices architecture, these functionalities would be split into separate services: an authentication service, a catalog service, and an order service. This, like this, we will differentiate the microservices. The second question is benefits of using microservices. Okay, first benefit is scalability. Each microservices can be scaled independently based on its load. Second one, flexibility in technology. Different services can use different technologies suited to their needs. Independent deployment. Services can be deployed independently, reducing deployment time and complexity. Improved fault isolation. Failure in one service does not necessarily affect others. The last one is easier maintenance. Smaller code bases are easier to understand and modify. Next one is main changes when working with microservices. If you are going from monolithic to microservices, what are changes we need to do? Those are the changes are mentioned here. Complexity. Managing multiple services introduces complexity in development and deployment. Data management. Maintaining data consistency across services can be challenging. Inter-service communications. Services need to communicate efficiently and reliably. Testing. End-to-end testing can be more complex compared to monolithic applications. Monitoring requires robust monitoring to track the health and performance of each services. The next question is how to implement microservices in Java. Okay, microservices in Java are commonly implemented using frameworks such as Spring Boot and Spring Cloud. These frameworks provide the necessary tools and libraries to build, deploy, and manage microservices efficiently. A simple Spring Boot microservice can be created as follows. Add Spring Boot application. If you want to give example like this, we can give. Okay, this is a public class application. This is a main class. Okay, from here the execution start, and after that REST controller request mapping, public class hello controller. This is a very simple one. Okay, so you can do this one. This is a very simple one to implement microservices. Frameworks used for building microservices in Java. Basically, what are the frameworks are used in building the microservice? Those are mentioned there. First one is the most popular one is Spring Boot. Simplifies the development of standalone production grade Spring applications. Second one, Spring Cloud provides tools for building common patterns in distributed system. Example, configuration management, service discovery. Spring Cloud. Going forward, we will understand what is the Spring Cloud. Drop Wizard, a Java framework for developing RESTful web services. Basically, I am also not aware of this Drop Wizard. I know only Spring Boot and Spring Cloud. After that, the Micronaut, a modern JVM-based framework for building microservices and serverless applications. These are the frameworks which will popularly use for building microservices in Java. The sixth one, Spring Boot and its role in simplification microservices development. Spring Boot is an extension of Spring framework that simplifies the setup development of new Spring application. It provides default configurations and embedded servers, reducing boilerplate code and configurations. Example, Spring Boot allows you to start a new project quickly with the following main class. As you all know, this is the main class. Okay, this we can call it as a new project. Seventh one, how to handle service discovery in Java microservices. Answer, service discovery is handled using tools like Eureka, Console, or Zookeeper. These tools help microservices locate each other dynamically. Service discovery, service registry. These are some of the design patterns which we'll use going forward. We will use the help of dependency. Right? If you want to use Eureka for service discovery, then you need to add this dependency in what you can say pom.xml. Okay, dependency we added. After that, on a main class, we need to give this enable Eureka client. Then our what you can say Microservice is ready to discover. What is Netflix Eureka and how it is used in Spring Cloud? Netflix Eureka is a service registry for service discovery. Okay, service discovery means the microservices which you're going to register in in Eureka, Netflix Eureka. In Spring Cloud, it is used to register and discover microservices. Basically, this is a very simple concept. Going forward, I will tell you all these things. Means service registry means what? Basically, that is a catalog. What you can say, attendance sheet. Okay, here each employee, or sorry, each student will register themselves, right, to discover that sheet to someone. Okay, if like that only. This is a service registry and service discovery concept. Example, configuring Eureka server. Enable Eureka server on a main application. This is very simple. Once you are understood what exactly you need to do, then this is very easy to understand. How do microservices communicate with each other? Okay, microservices communicate with each other using synchronous protocols. HTTP, REST, gRPC, or asynchronous protocol message brokers like Kafka or RabbitMQ. These are the some of the micro ways how the microservices communicate with each other. Advanced constructs. Okay, role of an API gateway in microservices. An API gateway act as a reverse proxy. Okay, routing client request to the appropriate microservices. API gateway is like a one gate. Okay. If you know in your college there are various branches. So there is one main gate. On that, if there is one navigation, what you can say, while you are going on the highway, there are some of the places on which the village names are showing. Means if you are going to somewhere Solapur, then there is a one arrow highway like that. Only this API gateway, it will handle the incoming requests and provide it to particular microservices. It also provides a cross-cutting concerns such as authentication, logging rate limiting, and many more. How do you implement API gateway using Spring Cloud Gateway or Zool? Spring Cloud Gateway and Zool are used to implement API gateways. Example using Spring Cloud Gateway. Spring Boot application purpose. Okay, this is right. After that, we need to create a bean public class gateway config and using the add the configuration class. Like this, we need to do using the Spring Cloud Gateway or Zool. Basically, we need to provide that URI. Here, we are going to provide a URI, and after that, that path. What exactly we need to, where we need to route, right? This is a very simple concept. What are the benefits of using Bean client for inter-service communication in Spring Boot? Bean simplifies HTTP client creation and makes it easier to write web services clients. It integrates with the ribbon for client-side load balancing and history for circuit breaker support. It integrates with ribbon for client-side load balancing and history for circuit breaker support. Example, I know these are very important concept in client, okay, to come in inter-service communications. Oh, okay, that's the 14th one. How do you use histories for implementing circuit breaker pattern in Java? Histories helps in providing latency and fault tolerance in distributed systems. By implementing the circuit breaker pattern, by implementing what exactly the answer is, how do you use histories for implementing circuit breaker pattern? She helps in providing latency and fault tolerance in distributed system by implementing the circuit breaker pattern. By implementing the circuit breaker pattern, we will get latency and fault tolerance in distributed system. This is the way how we can write. Okay. The 15th one, how to configure and use Ribbon for client-side load balancing. Ribbon is a client-side load balancer that distributes client requests across multiple server instances. Ribbon is a client side, okay, client side and server side. Basically, this one is a client side load balancer that distributes the client request across the multiple server instances. There are a number of servers, okay, to balance from client side only, not from server side. We will use the ribbon, okay. So this is how we will create a BN of the ribbon rule, okay. Ribbon rule, round robin rule, okay. Round robin, there is some of other ways, okay. Like that we will load balance. How do you manage configuration in Spring Cloud config? Do you manage configuration in Spring Cloud config? Spring Cloud config provides server and client-side support for externalized configuration in a distributed system. Example, configuration server setup. Hello, bhai. Java enable config servers on a main class. Okay, then that will be ready for cloud configuration. Describe the role of Spring Security in securing Java microservices. Spring Security provides authentication, authorization, and other security features for Java applications. It integrates with OAuth2 and JWT for securing microservices. How do you handle authentication and authorization in Java microservices using OAuth and JWT? OAuth2 and JW are used to secure microservices by providing token-based authentication and authorization. Configuring OAuth2 and JW2 enable resource server Spring Boot application. Okay, this is like we have to add on particular main class. What is the purpose of actuator in Spring Boot microservices? This is a very simple question. Using the actuator, what exactly we will do? Each and everyone know. Spring Boot actuator provides endpoints to monitor and manage the applications such as health checks, metrics, and environment. Mogoni, environment information. Bandava, example, XML dependency starter, Spring Boot starter actuator. Okay, here there are various APIs that will provide metrics, health check, and all other. There are various APIs that actuator will provide. How do you perform logging and monitoring in Java microservices using tools like ELK Stack or Prometheus and Grafana? ELK Stack, Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana for centralized logging and visualization. Huh? Jaglewa, Jaglewa. In this video, this is the last question. Okay. How do you perform logging and monitoring in Java microservices using tools like ELK Stack or Prometheus and Grafana? ELK Stack, Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana for centralized logging and visualization. Prometheus and Grafana for monitoring and alerting, with Grafana providing dashboards. Okay, so these 20 questions we have seen in this. Okay, these are very very important questions, and these are very, very basic questions. If you're not aware of these questions, then it will be very difficult to face the interview. So in this video, we have seen 20 questions. These are basic but most commonly asked interview questions. After that, we will see another 20 and then 20. So these are coming interview questions. Comings are design and implementation, and up to that, testing and debugging. These are the very important questions from intro point of view. Okay, so we will see in the next video. Thank you. Please share, subscribe. If you want this video, please comment microservices. I will share this one with you. Bye. Thank you.